8.4443 ounces. As opposed to the other chatter who said, I too specialize in personality disorders and I disagree. Okay, chatter. Respect. Yikes. Those neck tats are cringe. That's what your mom didn't say last night when she chimed in with the haven't you people ever heard of closing a goddamn door? No. Can I join in on this threesome? Is what she said. And we had a threesome. We're in a throuple now. I'm your father. I'm your emo father. And you're now grounded. Imagine I roll up as your new stepdad. I'm like, you're grounded, son. Yep. Don't touch my guy liner. That's why I grounded you.
No, I ain't talked to him. He owes me money. So I ain't got nothing to say to him. And I said, wait a second, like, he was telling me that y'all are brothers. He was like, man, he's like a brother. But I don't fuck with it. I don't fuck with him because he owes me money. So they had not spoken. This is now July 2021. They had not spoken in well over 6 months. So all the phone calls, this is what it means, guys. All the phone calls that he had with the brother in Baltimore in 2021 were not real. Then I reached out to the Omar guy. And I remember the story was that he and him known each other's years since California, worked together at the condiment company. I reached out to Omar and said, have you heard from Legion by any chance? Explained who I was. He responds with, and I'll never forget it, he responds with, no, I have not heard from him. I have absolutely no contact with him whatsoever. We are not friends, and I would appreciate if you do not reach out to me again about him. The stories I was told was that this dude is supposedly his best friend. Shocking moment. So they had not spoken in years. They're not cool. He does not fool with him. Okay. Went on to the next person, a female cousin I had met. She said, no, I have not heard from him. Why would I hear from him? We don't really talk. Like, I think she was genuinely weirded out by the fact that I'm reaching out to her out of the blue asking, hey, by any chance, have you talked to my soon-to-be ex-husband? So what I discovered because he ended up being gone for 2 weeks. What I discovered in those 2 weeks, let me be very clear with the statement I'm getting ready to make. I reached out to every person I know who apparently has had some form of relationship with him. Either he said that they were friends, they talked on the phone, he said they hung out.
I feel like there's a lot of motherfuckers like this out there. Not to this degree, by the way. This guy is like unique, okay? But there's a lot of people who are just like habitual bridge burners and just like pieces of shit in general to like everyone around them. And like, I think in my adulthood, I've also learned that like sometimes you just like sometimes you encounter a person like this, you just got to cut them out, and there's not really anything you can do other than just cut them out of your life. It is unironically the healthy thing to do. Many people are almost personally like they're perma stuck in their relationships because they think like, well, I've known this person for a long time and like, and it's fine and we can get over it. And sometimes you just can't. Sometimes you just got to cut your losses and move on,
The brother in Baltimore, I was told, had been to the house while I was at work. Brother in Baltimore said, no, that never happened. I've never been to your house. All these people knew that Legion was a liar. And I think that they all felt bad, with the exception of the Omar guy, felt bad that I was kind of just discovering what they've known for years. In those 2 weeks, I found out every single person I reached out to, not a single one of them gave a shit if that man was dead or alive. All of them had the attitude, some even said it, no, I haven't heard from him. I don't care to hear from him. It was as if, for me, it was such a sad moment because I discovered this man has no friends. Fuck whatever he has said. I am now able to prove it. He has no friends. There is nobody who is concerned that they have not heard or seen him in over 2 weeks. Some people months. One guy years. None of them were concerned. So basically, what I'm saying is that, so I told him, if you come to this house, step foot on this property, I'm calling the police and getting you arrested for trespassing. You should know about that. He was adamant. He was adamant that he was allowed back in the home. He didn't know the conversations I had with local law
Nightmare.
enforcement. But somebody was in his ear telling him, nah, you can go home because she's not allowed to kick you out. Okay. So I didn't know when he was scheduled to come because he was trying to get the money
Straight up
for the gas
nightmare
to get back
situation.
to Clinton County. I tried everything I could. Basically, what my options were simple. Let him in the home, and I can stay in the home, put him in a room, just have no dealings with him. But again, I don't want to be under the same roof with him. This is what the local police told me. I could have an officer go room to room and let his body cam film the room to see the condition of the house. And if Legion showed up, I would leave the house. I can go to a family member's home and stay there. This is literally in August, right before my lease is up. So I was.
Why didn't they fucking tell her that she could get a restraining order? Like, isn't that temporary? A temporary fix? Ironic, because I've had this conversation with the police before, many, many years prior, when I was getting a sea of death threats. This is like before I even started on Twitch. That's why I always say, like, for 10 years, I've been getting fucking death threats. This shit ain't new to me. And my manager was like really adamant. She was like, we printed out all the death threats. We're going to take it to the cops and we're going to try to do something. Cause like one of the dudes that was issuing the death threats was literally like involved with law enforcement. So they had found out my address through my license plate. So we took it to a detective and I was like, I don't really care. They're not gonna do shit. Right. And the cops literally, first thing they told me before the even detective that I talked to, the first thing the cop told me was, remember, chat, this is literally before I started streaming on Twitch. Okay. First thing he said was, yeah, you got to get a gun. We can't do anything. You got to get a gun to protect yourself. I was like, okay, that's insane. You're a cop. What the fuck? This is California. It's not easy to get a gun here. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, he was like, well, you know, restraining orders don't work in the way that you think it does. And he like went through this long, convoluted process of explaining to me, like, people think the restraining order is a temporary barrier that like physically stops someone from coming in. They can. It's just what they can still come over. It just is a way to file with the courts that this person is like illegally in your presence. So if they're trying to kill you, the restraining order is not going to do much. You know what I mean? It's like we can only come after the fact, after the deed is done. I was like, all right, great, thanks. I'll fuck off. I literally was like, so what are you talking about? Like, you know, what do you mean? Like, so what happens like to I literally asked him, I was like, so what happens with like domestic violence situations, like when people get restraining orders? Like, yeah, this happens a lot actually. It's really sad. Nothing we can do about it. Straight up. In that tone. It's like, okay.
Already moving. I had already secured another home, did exactly what I said I was going to do, moving to Cobb County. So I just needed a couple of weeks before I vacate the home. So the other option was, you know, again, have the officer film the home with the body camera. That way it shows what the condition of the home is at the time that he moved in. So if anything gets messed up, I can sue him. What am I going to sue him for? But nevertheless, or the third option is I can stay there with him, make life miserable. So my plan was the option of have them film the home. I was not staying in the same house with him. I didn't care. Also, there was no guarantee, and I told the officer this, look, if y'all allow him to stay in this house, I am telling you by tomorrow morning, every utility in this house will be off. He will have no running water. He will have no air condition. This place will feel like a sauna. Officer kind of chuckled and was like, again, ma'am, I mean, this is one of those domestic situations. He is allowed in the home. Okay. So again, I had no idea when he was coming. I was on pins and needles every day. I'm seeing the phone ring, like I said, about 30 times every hour. I'm seeing the messages. I'm seeing this. I had reached out to a police captain. I had reached out to the chief of police. I was trying to get all kinds of help. Like, it ain't what you know, it's who you know. So he eventually tells me I'm going to be there on Wednesday. This is just an example. I'm going to be there on Wednesday. I had been calling a police captain who was really gracious, really kind, and was trying to help me because I was like, bro, I just need 2 weeks and I'm out of this house.
Bro, remember, she's a civilian that worked with this police department. And they're still like, yeah, nothing we can do about it. I'm willing to bet if she was a cop, straight up, things would be very different. Like, this is the special treatment she's getting as a civilian that works with law enforcement. Fucking nuts. Straight up gang, dude. No, it wasn't a cop who made death threats against me. The person who made death threats, I think, like, had cops that he was friends with. And that's how he was able to track down my address from my license plate of my car. Wow, thanks. Guess I'll just die then. What if she was a cop? Should you just kill him legally? Yes. Anyway. Why is everyone assuming Legion is dangerous? Was he violent or something? No, but like, what do you mean? People are assuming Legion is dangerous because he's like been caught in a massive fucking con and a pathological liar. It's perfectly valid for her to fear for her safety at this point, which I suspect she doesn't even fear for her safety. We are fearing for her safety more than she is, realistically. She wants to be left alone. And he's like, nah, fuck that. I'm coming over. Previous wife had a restraining order for a fight. It wasn't the restraining order wasn't the restraining order was put not against Legion as far as I understand, but the Legion got one against his wife, I think. Cuz he's homeless and has nowhere to go. Damn, dog. If someone is homeless and has nowhere to go, then yeah, no, it's okay. I got it. That's crazy. You have to be baiting, right? Like, I'm actually a little confused in the situation. Like, yeah, we are obviously for. Are you denying his right to a shelter? Wow, fake socialist. Yeah. It's like, dude, I know. Socialism means that like you should let your fucking pathological liar ex stalk you. That's how it works. Yeah. That's how it works, bro. Socialism is actually just gifted subs at the top of the hour, honestly. There's no other form of socialism as valid as that. And if you no longer want to see those ads, all you need to do is subscribe. If you don't get gifted a sub from 34 MKD50 with another 50 big ones, then you're gonna have to subscribe on your own. It's his house though, at least for a bit more. No, dude, that's crazy.
House. And we already knew he legally could not go to the new house. I was trying to see if I could move in early to the new place. The landlord was like, I
With another
really can't let
50,
you.
what the fuck?
So I felt like I was running out of options. He's saying he's coming. He's saying he's coming. He's adamant he's coming. I guess somebody felt sorry and gave him some gas money so he could drive from Augusta up to Clayton County. So the day before all this goes down, the police captain called me, and he informs me that they ran his name through GCIC, which is a database that law enforcement agencies use. Turns out he has a warrant for his arrest. So the police captain says this changes everything. If he shows up to the house,
That's
don't
crazy.
do anything, call us.
That's crazy, bro. The cops are like, oh, fucking great. Great. That's free. That's free for us, baby. Like, I love that they're like, hey, if you're about to be like domestically violated by your now stalker ex-husband who you are currently in legal battle with, who just is utilizing the legal system to just fucking do whatever the fuck he wants, that's one thing. But let me tell you, okay? Turns out he's got an arrest warrant. Oh, easy peasy, baby. We're there no matter what. He's like, great news. Your stalker ex-husband that you're trying to currently get out of a marriage with, well, it turns out he's also a criminal. So at least now we can, now we're fucking interested. This changes everything. You can be bait for us. Yeah, he has a warrant. Say less. No shot the cops with a we Googled him. Turns out he's not a nice guy. Yeah.
I will have officers to your home and they will simply arrest him. So I know that this is a short part, but I'm going to dedicate the next part to what happened when he showed up to my house. Part 47.
Oh my God.
Did I marry? So here's what happened. This was mid-August. Went to work as usual. It actually happened on a Friday. I had to look at the dates. It happened on a Friday. Went to work. Still, he was calling me, texting me, messaging me that he was on his way. And so I was a bit on pins and needles all day. I was dreading going home. And that
cops show up, notice he's 6'4", let him leave.
That is a horrible feeling to dread to go home. So he had called me and said that he was at the house in the driveway. I guess he had to use the restroom, so he decided to go to the Walmart up the street to go use the bathroom. I wasn't answering phone calls. I wasn't answering text messages. I simply called the police captain. I said, hey, he's saying that he's at the house. The police captain himself drove by the house, but I believe he drove by the house when Legion went to Walmart to use the bathroom. So the police captain was like, I don't see anyone there. But again, when you get home, if he is there, do not engage. Call us. Okay, no problem. Because I got you on speed dial. So I go home. I'm on the phone with.
I like that the arrest warrant all of a sudden magically makes him like a way scarier person in the cop's eyes. Like, same guy. Okay. Same fucking guy. What did he get an arrest warrant for? We don't even know, but it's like all of a sudden he's like, whoa, he has a criminal record and an arrest warrant. Don't interact with him. Before, your bitch ass as the police chief was literally like, yeah, he's going to have to come and stay at your house. If you want, we can, go live with another person. That's crazy, dog. That's actually crazy. It's called person of interest for a reason. It's just like nuts that, God, our legal system is so fucking busted.
Mother and my aunt on a three-way call. They're both like, oh my God, what do we need to do? I drive into my subdivision. What he did not know was that he had backed into the driveway up against the garage. Normally, I park my car in the garage. But what he didn't know was that at the time, I was driving a fleet car. So I wasn't even in my normal car. And I know that he was waiting to see my car, the Nissan Altima that he helped get, pull in to the subdivision and then pull in towards my townhome. That didn't happen. Because I'm in a different car, he didn't recognize it. So when I turned onto my street, as sure as it is hot in Georgia in the summer, that man was sitting in the driveway in his Ford Taurus. Okay? So I live at the time not far from a cul-de-sac. So when you go straight down, you just turn around the cul-de-sac to come back up. So that's exactly what I did. I went to the corner, turned off so that I can see the house, but he would not have been able to see me. I went ahead and called 911. I was very calm, told them exactly what the captain had told me to say. I was like, my name is, the address is, I need police here because my ex-husband is here. He is not supposed to be here. And I feel as though I am in danger.
Wait, she should have said he has a criminal arrest
regular
warrant.
phone call. She said, we're dispatching police to your home. As soon as I hang up, I then call the police captain. He immediately answers the phone. He says, we just got the call. I'm sending 4 officers your way. Okay, good. Get off the phone, call my mom and my aunt back because they were both like, call us back. Call them back on 3-way. I continue to sit there until I see 4 officers, 4 cars pull in and stop just in front of my house. So then I ease up. He gets out the car, I guess, trying to see what's going on. I explain to the officer that walks to my window. I say, this is what's going on. So I was trying to sound extra law enforcement smart. I was like, check him through GCIC. You're going to find that he has a warrant out for his arrest for a violation of probation. And the officer kind of smirked because she was like, we know.
That's it. This is a violation of probation. Oh my
We
God.
already checked GCIC. The captain called us. So I was like, okay. So anyway, they tell me to sit in the car. They go up to the window of the car and get him, ask him to step out of the car. He does. When he stepped out the car, I was like, oh my God. I hadn't seen him since the end of June when I met him at the UPS store. And he looked bad then. He was still in the same clothes. When I told you guys when I met him, he was like a size 3X. What got out of the car was easily a medium or large. Easily. That is how, and it makes sense because, he probably wasn't eating, except for somebody gave him $6 for chicken nuggets. But what got out of the car was something I didn't even recognize. So he gets out of the car, they arrest him. There was no incident or anything like that. He was arrested peacefully. They put him in the back seat. My neighbors are all looking like, what is going on? And so the officer comes up to me and she said, he's asking to speak to you. Do you want to speak to him? I said, yeah.
No!
So she walks with me. Keep in mind, she's wearing a body cam. So she walks with me to the window. They put the window down. And I remember looking at him. I was like, I told you not to come. And he said, I just wanted to get my stuff. I just wanted to get the TV. I said, what TV?
I wanted to get my Invicta watches.
The TV that you gave me in the divorce? And he was like, yeah, that TV. And I said, it's mine. You gave it to me. I have the fucking text messages proving that you gave me the TV. And I'm trying not to scream because the neighbors are all watching. And he was like, I know. I just needed my stuff. I'm sorry. I'll never bother you again. I'm sorry. And so I look at the officer and I was like, you have me out here with 4 fucking police cars. You have embarrassed me to no end. You have made a fool of me. And you got the audacity to now be like, I'm sorry. I'm like, fuck, you're sorry. So the officer was kind of like, okay. I said, I never want to see you again. He was like, you won't. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. So I walk off. The officer is like, going through the stuff that was in his wallet. They took it out and put it on the roof of the car. So did I say, I'm sorry, the stuff that was in his pants, like his wallet, his keys, they put it on the roof of the car when they had him get out the car. And so she's just like, I said, did you catch all that on body cam? And she said, yeah. I said, he gave me the TV. And she said, yeah. She's like, we're going to take him in and, we'll have somebody look at him because in her words, she said he's definitely having a mental episode right now in the backseat. And I just shrugged and I was just like, Mike, I just said, I just want to be done with him. I just want to be done. And so she was like, I understand. I totally get it. So his car is in my driveway. The keys and everything are, they took it with them because I guess since it was on him, they took it with them for processing at the jail. I think that's how that works because I didn't see the wallet or the keys afterwards. So at this point, 4 officers leave. I go into the house. Everything's peaceful and calm.
The more she's talked about his downfall, the more I felt bad for him. Like, I hate to admit it, but it's just like he's fucking insane. Okay? And I mean that both like in the colloquial sense, but I also kind of mean that in like the literal medical sense too. Like, he's just so fucked up. I don't know how else to describe it. Like, he's just fucked up, dude.
A few minutes later, I go outside to check the mail. What's in the mail but a letter from the court? I open it up. I go into the house because, again, it's hot. I had my wig on. My head is all sweaty and stuff. I'm just angry and just angry. That raised my blood pressure. So I go in the house. I sit on the steps inside the house and I open up the mail from the judge. And it's my final divorce decree. And I'm smiling right now. But y'all, when I got that divorce decree sitting on the stairs, I broke down into ugly Oprah tears. I broke down. It was as if a year worth of weight came off of me. I broke down, and I mean, I wailed. I broke down. I broke down. So I broke down so bad. Next part. All right, part 48. Who the fuck did I marry? So after I finished breaking down, wiped my tears, and his car is still in the driveway. I couldn't park in the driveway. So I called the car company. I had called the car company once before when he went missing for those 2 weeks to ask them if they maybe had a tracker on the car and could track it. And the nice gentleman informed me that the tracker had not been giving a signal off for about 5 months. So he wouldn't really give me details on the car, but obviously the car had not, the car payment was not being made on that car. It had not been made on that car for quite some time. So he and I split in June, but apparently the car payment wasn't made long before June. Can't speak to that, but he still had the car. So, called the car company. I told them, I understand that y'all looking for this Ford Taurus. And the lady said, yes, or you can make a payment. I said, no, y'all can come get it. Here's the address. When do y'all want to get it? And she said, well, I can have a driver come get it tomorrow morning. I said, no problem. That car will be ready for you to get it tomorrow morning. And so the car was repossessed out of my driveway the next morning, Saturday. The driver was there about 7 o'clock in the morning. He had the master key for the car, cranked it up, drove it, put it on the tow truck, and left. Here's what that now means. When Legion left my house in June, he left with 2 bags of clothes. Everything else was in my house. At the end of July, or towards the end of July, everything that he had left in my house had been donated to the domestic violence shelter, which means that the only thing that Legion had were the clothes that he had taken with him in the car. When he got arrested in my driveway, all of his clothes were still in the car. And
Dude, that just sucks. Like I this is what I mean. Now I feel kind of bad. Fuck, man, I'm such a pussy. Like, he got nothing. He's homeless and now also devoid of a home. Like, this is the only shelter he had is the car. Do not feel bad for these monsters. I still think like the system is supposed to take care of a person like this. Like, he's just completely done. You know what I mean? Like, the last thing that was like holding him grounded. The last thing that was like offering at least like a sense of shelter for this dude is gone. He's already homeless, but at least he had like a roof over his head. Yeah.
When the car got repossessed Saturday morning, all of the clothes were in there, which means that when he went to jail, whenever he got out, he only got out with keys to a car he no longer had, a wallet with probably no money in it, and the clothes that were on his back. Everything else was gone. Now we can fast forward to what happened around August 29th. So I was scheduled to move August 31st. Remember, I'm moving up to Cobb County. We have been checking the court documents. He had a court date scheduled for around August 29th or August 30th. I don't remember the exact date. The court time was supposed to be around 9 o'clock in the morning. My mom was watching the court filings online, and according to her, because I missed it, they showed him on the screen because this was still during Zoom. They showed him on the screen, and then he was ushered out of the court into like a back area, and an attorney spoke on his behalf. Between the time that he had been arrested and the time of the court date, I had never in my life slept so good. Truthfully, never slept so good. I was officially divorced. I had no ties to him. There was nothing in the house of his there was nothing of his that was still in the house. I felt free. So when the court date happened and my mom told me what she saw on the Zoom, I was confused. Is he getting out? Is he having to serve time? What's going on? I called the courts. I tried to speak to his attorney, and his attorney had a horrible attitude and was like, why are you calling me? And I informed him, I said, look, I'm a bit afraid of this man. So can you please just tell me if he is being released, or is he going to be kept, or if he is going to be sentenced to a longer jail term? He said, no, he's not being kept in a longer jail term because the warrant had expired. So when the police arrested him, yes, it was a valid arrest, but the warrant had expired. So I believe the warrant had expired like 6 months earlier, but of course it wasn't.
Dude, I'm sorry, but I love the criminal justice system. It's so fucking stupid. We have the dumbest criminal justice system of all time. There's just no justice at all at any part. Even when they're trying to be fucking bad and like vindictive or draconian, they're just having a hard time doing that. Holy moly, that shit is so crazy. He's just, Jesus Christ. Yeah, it turns out he was arrested unjustifiably, which is why I said there needs to be a different, separate circumstance for domestic violence. Like, you shouldn't have to go to the cops. You know what I mean? Because cops don't know how to fucking deal with it anyway. But even if they did know how to deal with it, like in the violent means, then you're pulling out the most violent way of dealing with a domestic violence situation, a potential domestic violence situation. Um,
Pathological liar. So, needless to say, he got released August 30th. I went to my aunt's house for the night. August 31st, I went back to the house. The movers were there. They packed me up, and we got out of there so quick. I think they packed me up in about 2 hours. I honestly told them there's extra money in this if you guys can get me packed up, meaning loaded up onto the truck, because everything was packed. But I explained to them this is a domestic situation. I need you guys to move quickly. When I moved out of that house on August 31st, anything that Legion touched, I got rid of. I sold the furniture. I sold dining room tables. I donated plates, glasses. When I tell you, I moved out and I started over. I completely purged my life.
being a freak doesn't mean you get thrown out of your home. That's insane, dude. That is actually fucking insane. I don't understand how she has every fucking right at that point to be like, you can't come back here. I can't tell if you're like joking or not. Yes, it does. Dude, what do you mean? I have empathy to a certain degree for Legion's position. Okay? But like, that's actually wild that you're saying she can leave. Oh my God. Are you Legion? Are you Legion in the chat? What's happening right now? She can leave. She has a choice. He doesn't. Yes, he does. He already left at that point. You literally said he deserves shelter, but not her shelter. Exactly. What the fuck are you talking about? House ownership really changing, man? Yeah, guys, I'm gonna explain something to every single person that I think, like, maybe some people think that there's this like cartoonish depiction of the left out there that they subscribe to on their own for some weird reason. But like, having empathy for others doesn't mean that like for example, we talk about homelessness all the time, right? Um, I, I want there to be a housing first policy in terms of dealing with homelessness. I want to make sure that the market forces are not pushing people out of the housing market. Okay. This does not mean that I think it's fucking fine and dandy when like a homeless person is like, for example, terrifying your mom outside of your fucking apartment and they're like having an episode. The way to deal with that obviously is not always going to be to call the cops unless there's someone like directly assaulting you. Okay. But it's still not a good situation. Do you understand that? Like there's a line beyond empathy at that point. The people who need this explained to them need seriously help. Some people, I think, unironically, are like, you're wrong. If someone is homeless, if someone is devoid of a home at that moment, in that point, like, they should be able to go back to this person that they've like literally pathologically lied to endlessly, who very clearly do not have like the mental wherewithal. Like, they should be able to live there is crazy. And I don't know what you mean. This is like Ixie's understanding of socialism. Yeah, there's I think a lot of people that just like think that this is like what this dude was doing is um not valid, but that doesn't mean that he shouldn't be able to live there. And I don't know if you I just don't think you can put yourself in the in her shoes at all. I think that's what it is. I know it is her house. That's the other thing. It's literally her house.
Completely started over. I mean, I was not willing to take a single item into my new home that reminded me of him. From the dishes in the kitchen to the towels in the linen closet. When I tell you Amazon and Ross were my best friends, I mean they were my best friends because I could not fathom moving into a new home, a new space with anything that reminded me of him. I sold the bed, got a new bed. If he had bought me clothes, I got rid.
Chat about to be like, that's illegal. She shouldn't be allowed to sell the bed. She should have to sleep in the same bed. And actually, I'll take it one step further. He is legally supposed to sleep in the bed with him. I think that that's how it's supposed to go. Chatter about to be like, no, actually, that's not allowed. Okay? She has to wear the Invicta watches while in bed while they're having sex. Do you understand? That's just how it works. Okay? If someone lies to you, locks you into fucking marriage under false pretenses, and just like lies to you consistently throughout that entire process, emotionally abuse you and mentally fuck with you the entire time, it doesn't matter. You're fucking cooked because you signed a paper, which means you're stuck. You're stuck with that person. You have to wear the WWE belts. You have to wear the fucking Invicta watches, and you have to sleep in the same bed with this person who like abused you. That's crazy. That's a crazy take. You have to literally lay there with the piss bottles too.
Rid of him. If he bought me shoes and purses, okay, I kind of kept the heels, but everything else I got rid of. So I completely purged my life. Completely.
Yeah, I know, but like that guy's doing it in a socialist way. This is unironically a major part of the Republican Party platform right now. Yeah, no fault. The abolition of no fault divorce is legitimately a thing that Steven Crowder and many other conservatives are advocating for currently, which is really ironic because like there's a chatter in here who's doing that, but in a leftist way, I guess. Chatters will take the same exact position of Matt Walsh and say it uncritically, like repeat that position in here uncritically. It's literally no different than being like, oh, you care about homelessness? Well, why don't you fucking house every homeless person in Los Angeles in your house? It's like, what are you talking about? That's not how any of this works. I'm dumbfounded by this idiotic take.
Started over from the bottom in terms of just the move. I could not take any piece of him with me. Could not. Part 49. Who?
Yeah, by the way, this isn't even a no fault marriage. That's the funniest part. This is a full fault marriage. There is no more fault that you can get in this circumstance, for the record.
I'm married. So after the whole, I moved.
Now you've moved to goalposts. Now you're saying obviously she should divorce anytime she wants, but if she did and he signed it, but if he paid rent, she should at least reimburse him for what he paid. The fuck are you talking about? He lived there while he paid rent. After you think he was paying rent after she kicked him out? Is that what you genuinely think is going on here? Or are you fucking turning around and now demanding that she pay him back the rent that he paid while they were living there together, as he was fucking lying about being an entirely different person? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Yeah, apparently, I mean, I think he also like literally stopped paying rent regardless. You know you are just wrong. You just keep playing dumb to get more and more money from your stupid viewers. You are canceled, cringe lord, copium. Thank you for showing us what a not cringe person looks like on this beautiful Sunday. Fucking got him.
And I started over, basically, completely started over. So there was a period of time where different people had reached out to me, people who knew him. Apparently, he was still trying to find a couch to sleep on. And so one guy in particular had reached out to me because I guess Legion had asked him if he could come and stay with him and his family because he was homeless and had nowhere to go. And so he had lied and told the guy, because again, he's a liar. So he had lied and told the guy that, I had kicked him out. We're divorced. I had taken all his money.
Yeah, he also like scammed her too multiple times. 34 MKD 50. Thank you for the 50 gifted subs.
And so that's why he's homeless. So the gentleman simply was reaching out to me on Facebook to confirm what is actually true. And he and I talked, because he ended up calling me. He and I talked for a while. Very respectful, really nice guy, very compassionate. And so I told him, I was like, I said, we're divorced. So I have nothing to do with him. I said, I wouldn't bring him in my house with my family if I were you. But that's just me. And so the guy was like, lady, he didn't say lady, but
he's gifted 26,000 subs. It's really funny when you think about it because, like, it's Turkish lira. The currency exchange rate makes it so that it's like a couple pennies every single time. But it is wild that he's done that. 26,000 is so much. I wonder what it comes out to. Not anymore, right? I think still until like July, it's still currency exchange. No. This is the subs post price hike are like $2.5 per one for tier one. No. That's not. This is pre-price hike. The price hike hasn't kicked in yet. I think it's literally like it used to be like 9 cents, I think. Something like that. Like I think I get like 9 cents per each sub. Which is still an incredible amount. All right, let's continue.
But he was like, lady, you dodged a bullet. He was like, I know you may not see it now, my sister, but you dodged a bullet. You dodged a bullet big time. And so, just in talking to him, he was very encouraging. Like, it sounds like you got a good head on your shoulders. It sounds like you're a good woman. And no, he was not flirting at all. He was like, it sounds like you're a good woman. And I really hope this does not mess you up. Like, don't let him mess you up. Don't let him, like, diminish your shine kind of thing. And I appreciate that. I did. Because at that time, again,
she was not dodging the bullets. She was eating the bullets, okay? She was taking it. She was tanking the bullets, sure, but she was certainly not fucking dodging them. She got hit like every time.
Had moved into my new place. 2021 was the worst year I ever had. I'm not saying that so that
she got shot like 9 times and then literally handed him a second fucking magazine so that he could reload and shoot again. Okay, until finally she was like, I'm done.
2021 was a dark year. Started out married, end of the year divorce, end of the year with COVID and divorce. And that period of time, that August, September time, I felt like I was just walking around like a numb woman. I didn't know if I was coming or going. I didn't know what to do because I felt like I had just been through hell. And it was a period of time where I had to sit down and I had to really, really deal with some stuff that I just simply was not ready to deal with. Things that I had to come to grips with that I really wasn't ready to come to grips with. So fast forward all this time, get to December of 2021. Yes, this is where the story does end. Get to December of 2021. I am out sick with COVID. I'm not at work. I get a phone call from my coworker telling me that Legion has called our job looking for me and was trying to get information on how to reach me. Yes, I had already changed my number. Again, I had already moved, but he knew where I worked. So apparently he had called trying to find me. And the person that answered the phone was like, we're not going to give you that information. So he said, well, can you ask her to give me a call? I'm just trying to get a hold of her so I can get my stuff The stuff he's talking about are those tote bags from July. So he was
Bro,
calling.
that's
And it was a
crazy.
problem. He was trying to reach out to me on Facebook. He was trying to reach
Chatter about to chime in and be like, listen, you don't understand. Like, he deserves to do that. Okay. They made a contract. Doesn't matter if it was under, like, doesn't matter if he lied to her the entire time. He is legally allowed to stalk his ex wife. That's how it fucking works. Okay.
out to family members on Facebook, trying to get me to call him so that he could make arrangements to come get his stuff. The devil is a lie. So my friend Tracy, who came to my rescue again.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't think he gives a fuck about the stuff. I think he just wants to like establish contact with her again and like try to, because like in his mind, I assume he like thinks he can patch it up, like he can manipulate her again. He's wrong, but he's still trying to think that way. Like, I'm sure that this seems like he has nothing, so he's like desperately trying to reach like get whatever he fucking has back, so he can sell it and make some money to survive. That's what like you immediately want to think, but it's definitely him just trying to thinking that he can like snag her back.
My friend Tracy was like, okay, here's what you're going to do. She said, you're going to send him a message and you are going to say these exact words. I sent him a text message. She said, and she told me you're going to send a text message because it's going to be timestamped. And basically the text message says, I do not have your stuff. I did not have your stuff. I have nothing that belongs to you. If you continue to, you are disrupting.
How come he didn't do that to the ex-wives? He got worse. That's what his family said, at least. Which is also kind of normal. We don't know all the details of what he did to his ex-wives, but I think that we don't know what the details are. But even if we were to assume that like it didn't get this bad, right? I think one thing that the family mentioned was that he kept like getting worse and worse through each altercation.
The work of my job by calling and asking for me. We have no contact with each other. I will send you a copy of the divorce decree that shows whatever is in your possession you own and whatever is in my possession I own. If you contact me directly or indirectly ever again, I will get a restraining order on you. Now, for those of you who are watching this in 2024,
it's kind of crazy because like, yo, you should have done that like months ago. What the fuck's going on? Why is she always doing this? I don't get it. I don't understand. Why has she not done this already? Like, this is not victim. I'm not trying to victim blame, but like, I don't understand why she didn't do this at all. I just legitimately don't get it.
And you're probably like, wow, she's dramatic. Please understand that what I just said, I meant.
No, we don't think you're dramatic. We think you should be a little bit more dramatic. If you think that that's drama, be more dramatic, please.
That if you ever try to contact me directly or indirectly, I will get a restraining order. I have it in writing. I've always had it in writing. And if I need to rewrite it again in 2024, I will, because the boundaries still stand. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the last time I had any contact whatsoever with my pathologically lying ex-husband. Part 50. Who the fuck did I marry? So.
Oh, this is it. This is the final part. That's crazy.
There's some realizations I had to come to after the divorce and everything that passed. One, Legion never loved me. He never loved me. He doesn't love himself, so I know he didn't love me. Number two, he didn't even like me. He watched me get excited about things that he knew I was not going to get. And not even just the possession stuff. Like, of course, we know I was excited to be the woman whose husband is like, I'm taking my wife to London. I was excited to be the woman whose husband was like, yeah, I bought my wife a brand new BMW X5. You have to understand is all the jokes that we make about the BMW. It was the time and effort that he spent in taking me to dealerships and being sure to put me in the car and test drive the car and, you know, oh, I can see you in this. I like this for you. It seems safe. It was the effort to really make me believe that he was going to get this just for him to fuck with me. The effort in taking me to all these homes, to see my face light up as a woman who grew up on welfare, to be able to walk into these 4 and 5 bedroom homes knowing that he didn't have any money to buy it. Imagine if he had just been honest and said, hey, I like in my free time to go to open houses and just see how the other people live. Imagine if he had just said that versus wasting not only my time, but wasting the time of the realtors who did nothing wrong. There's a level of cruelty to my ex-husband that I had never experienced before. And God knows, I pray I never.
I mean, this is like a once in a lifetime type shit for like most people are never going to encounter another person that does this, right? Like, let's be real. That's not happening. Hasan, so you feel bad for her right now? No, of course. No, I'm saying that like that's why I get like why she kind of didn't lean into the red flags so hard in the beginning. Because like no one is that cruel in such an unusual way. People will be like, oh, I had similar relationships and whatnot. But like, sure, there are manipulative, emotionally abusive partners and whatnot. But like, this dude had the workings of like a serial con man and maxed out on his like con stuff simply for the mental manipulation aspect. Like, it's mind-boggling. You would not expect someone to be that cruel for like such a petty purpose. I'm willing to bet that if there was like money, if there was a money angle here, I'm willing to bet if he wasn't paying the groceries, if he wasn't paying the fucking rent, that like she would probably smell something off faster. She probably would have been like, oh, this motherfucker is a bum. I think like a lot of this stuff doesn't make sense. Plus, on top of that, he's just like, you know, I'm paying for everything. Did you say he isn't evil or ill? He just lied? No, dude, come on. That's like, I think a lot of people think that, first of all, lying is already a bad thing to do to a significant other. But what you're talking about is, first of all, he cheated on her numerous times. And it's so crazy that, like, that isn't even the worst thing he did. Do you understand? Like, that's crazy. It's crazy that he was like serially cheating on her. And that's not even in the top 10 lists of most nutty things he did to her. Bro, he took her to a fucking cemetery and was like, these are my grandparents. And it was like no grandparents were there. It was someone else's grandparents with the same last name. He just, and for no reason, too. That's the other part. For no reason. He was just playing abuse for the sake of abuse. He was like, I fucking love this shit, dog. I'm invested in it. You got no respect for a genius world builder? I don't. Because you want to know why I don't have respect for a genius world builder? Because he could have used that for something sick. Okay. He could have used that for something cool. He could have robbed a bank or some shit. Okay. But he didn't do that. He didn't do shit. He world builded. He world built specifically for this one person. Like, it's just so weird and evil.
Never experience it again. That's the word that comes to mind when I think of him. He is cruel. And it wasn't just me. He did it to the ex-wife.
Yeah, he could have like embezzled a trust fund, baby. Still would have been fucked up. But like, it would have made more sense.
So do I trust? No. No. I trust the people who were in my life before him. If we were friends or if we were in a relationship or whatever, and I knew you before him, I trust you explicitly. But if you're somebody I just met, I don't trust you. I don't. There's no point in me getting on here and saying and making it seem like, oh, I'm so strong, I'm so brave. I struggle big time. Because on one hand, I want to like someone. On the other hand, I'm immediately thinking, what if it's a repeat? And I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I can't go through that again. I can't. Every single thing in our relationship was a lie. It took me a while to realize every single day this man lied to me. Every single day he lied to me. Every conversation he had was a lie. I will never know how much he lied to me. I'll never know. I've made my peace with it. I will never know how deep it really truly goes. I only know what I.
It's especially funny because I love con men, right? Whether it be Donald Trump, George Santos, or just like any kind of con man. I love con men. I love con men stories. And that's part of the reason why this is such a compelling story, is because he is a con man. But it's just like, but like, this is, you know, literally the most insane version of that. Someone in the chat said, oh, isn't this kind of like that guy who lied about being a Saudi prince? No, because that guy at least was like stealing money. He would like stay in hotels, live a lavish life, present himself a certain way, and then like get amenities out of it. This motherfucker didn't do that. The only amenities he got was like the manipulation, like the fun you got out of like mentally manipulating a lower middle class woman who works for the Georgia State Police. You know what I mean? Like, she didn't do shit. She's like, it's the worst kind of person to victimize. Like, she's done nothing wrong, just a normal lady who's like looking for love. It blows my fucking mind. It's the invert. Yeah, it's reverse Saltburn, dude. With no murder at the end either. Like, at least at the end of the Saltburn sequence, like, he gets the house and shit. Like, he takes over the entire family estate. This guy got nothing. He can't even get his fucking TV back.
I experienced, and I only know what God allowed me to see. But I'm willing to bet that there's a lot I still don't know. When people say, oh, you dodged a bullet, like you just, and I've read a lot of the comments on this, and people have sent me a lot of the comments. And so I need to make one thing very clear.
She did not dodge a bullet.
Aware I dodged a bullet. I am so grateful to my God.
She tanked the bullet. I think that's the more proper term here. She tanked it. She survived, but she definitely didn't dodge the bullet.
I'm sorry if that offends some of you, but it's the truth. I'm grateful that we didn't buy a house and that I'm not financially tied to him in any way, shape, or form. But I am also grateful for the fact that there are things about my ex-husband that I discovered in terms of how he is when it comes to other women. And I'm grateful that God has kept me and protected me. That's all I'm gonna say. So when I started out making this series and I made the decision to tell my story, my motive was, I just want to help one person. If there is a woman out there who's like, God, I want to be married and I met this guy and something don't seem right, but maybe it's not that bad. My advice is, honey, just go ahead and do your research, because I can honestly tell you, being single sucks. Okay. In my opinion, sometimes it sucks, but being married to the wrong person is a type of hell no one should have to go through. You should not have to be married to someone that does not like you. You should not have to be married to someone that doesn't even love you. And I know what that is like. I know what it's like to be told, hey, babe, I love you. And yet.
The moral of the story is, if someone tells you that they played arena football, Google the fucking salary and you will very quickly find out. I thought ladies were good at this. Like, no disrespect, but like, I thought for self-preservation and like genuine defensive purposes, because you don't know who the fuck you're putting your life on the line with, technically. You know what I mean? I thought that a good background, a little bit of brief background check is in order every single time, for sure. And also, never trust men who are 6'4". Okay? Just don't do it. And I say this as a 6'4" ass man. Okay? 6 foot. I'm 6'4" and I wear platform Doc Martens and I appear 6'6" sometimes. You know how you know how messed up that is? I'm a bad guy. Who the fuck does that? That's crazy. Date short kings. That's the moral of the story. Look, I'm always there for my short kings, okay? I'll be there no matter what.
I swear, I think that man sat back in the recliner with his WWE Championship Roman Reigns belt and laughed his ass off at me every day. Like, damn, she really believed it. Ha, 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 ha. I do. I really do think that.
Shitting on our arena football kings out here getting CTE just to go band for band with McDonald's managers. Excuse me. No, they're not going band for band with McDonald's managers because the McDonald's manager is outbanding them immediately. Okay. They are not. No, they're going band for band with like McDonald's, like maybe assistant managers. Okay. McDonald managers are destroying the Arena Football Kings out here. Okay. What? I bet your tall ass can't take a swift kick to the back of your hamstring. Yo, that's it's not even funny. Today, Kaya has officially gotten too big because she was running around. We were playing and she hip checked me in the calf, and my calf still hurts. But to be fair, it's 100 pounds. You know what I mean? She's 100 pounds and she's a fucking landed into my calf and it fucked me up. My calf still hurts. What the fuck are those neck tattoos? Because I got canceled, I wanted to change my identity. Okay? I'm no longer Hank. I'm emo. Damn, bro, you lost to a pet animal. I'm willing to bet Kaya could fuck up most chatters. Kaya is almost the same weight as like most of my chatters. So the notion that like this is my pet animal and tiny or whatever is so funny.
I am an intelligent woman, and I know that I know better. And I still sometimes ask myself, how the fuck did you let this happen? How did you let this be your story? All because at the time I wanted it to be my turn. And I hoped it was my turn. And when people say, well, what do you mean by that? I just meant we all see it, whether it's social media or real life, we all see where the woman she done been through some stuff and she finally met someone who appreciates, loves, and respects her. And it is a beautiful thing. I had hoped that when I met him, it was my turn for that. And instead of being obedient, I wanted to be right and I wanted to do what I wanted to do. And the cost of that decision was heavy. The toll of reliving this whole scenario was heavy. It was. I'm almost surprised.
I mean, I'm glad that because she is a phenomenal storyteller,